Hello and good evening to all. So today is our third weekly live tutorial class of the NPTEL course Advanced Calculus for Engineers. The course code is NOC MA91. My name is Shankhanarayan Chattopadhyay and I am your TA at the Department of Mathematics, IIT Ropa. So today is August 11, 2024. So without a delay, let's proceed. So in this class I will mostly discuss about partial derivatives and all, and then I will discuss some basic theory of differentiability, so that you can in the next class I will discuss about differentiability of function of two or more variables. Okay, so without a delay, let's start. So the first problem is, using the limit definition of partial derivatives, you have need to find del f del x and del f del y at the point 1, 2 for fxy equal to 1 minus x plus y minus 3x square y. So what is the limit definition? So here we will use the definition of partial derivatives. So what is that definition of partial derivatives? So first we will determine del f del x, then we will determine del f del y. So what is del f del x? So for del f del x is fx del f del x at the point 1, 2. So limit definition is, we will consider so first we are taking derivative with respect to x, right? So what we will do, we are taking derivatives with respect to x. So what we will do, we will just give increment in the abscissa. That means we will give increment in the y plus 1 part. So limit h tends to 0. The in this numerator part we will write f of 1 plus h comma 2 minus f of 1 2. So since here the partial derivatives in with respect to x coordinate, so that's why we have given the increment with respect to x only, because you know that for partial derivatives, when you take partial derivative with respect to one variable, you keep the other variables constant, right? So now this is one, you need to put 1 plus h instead of minus x, and x, and instead of y you need to put 2. So what is the value of f of 1 plus h comma 2? F of 1 plus h comma 2 is, you just need to put, instead of x in the function you need to put 1 plus h, and instead of y you need to put 2. So 1 minus x plus y minus 3x square y. So if you put 1 plus h instead of x, by doing some algebraic calculations, you can get the functional value to be minus 6h square minus 13h minus 4. So what does it gives? Minus 6h square minus 13h minus 4. Sorry. So now you need to put f of 1 2. So what will be the value of f of 1 2? You need to put, instead of x you need to put 1, and instead of y you need to put 2. So what will be f of 1 2? F of 1 2 will be 1 minus 1 plus 2 minus 3 into 1 square into 2. So 1 minus 1 will be 0, y is 2, and minus 3 into 1 square 2 means minus 6. So 2 minus 6 will give you minus 4. So that is minus 6h square minus 13h minus 4 minus of minus 4, right? So now this minus 6h square minus 13h minus 4, and this minus and minus will make you plus 4. So that will give you minus 6h square minus 13h divided by h. So if you just take h common from the numerator, you will get minus h into minus 6h minus 13 divided by h. So limit h tends to 0, minus 6h minus 13. You put h equals to 0, you will get minus 13. Now you cross check. Can you cross check this by just computing the del f del x? Can you tell me that what will be the value of del f del x? Fxy is this.
Yes, sir.
Can you tell me?
Minus 1 minus 6xy.
Yes, minus 1 minus 6xy. Now you need to put instead of x you need to put 1, and instead of 2 you need y you need to put 2. So what will be the answer? Minus 1 minus 12. So minus 1 minus 12 is minus 13. Okay, so this is here we have just used the definition of limit, the definition of limiting definition of partial derivative. Also now fy12, so you can use different symbol like k, but I have just used h actually, so it is no matter, it is just a dummy variable, you can use anything, right? So if of now you are calculating with respect to the y coordinate. So f of 1 comma 2 plus h minus f of 1 2 divided by h. So limit h tends to 0, f of 1 comma 2 plus h. So what will be this f of 1 comma 2 plus h? So you need to put here 1. So 1 minus 1 is 0, and y is equal to 2 plus h, and here you will get minus 3 into 1 square into 2 plus h. So that will be minus 3 into 2 plus h. So if you just do a simple algebraic calculation, you will get h plus 2 minus 6h minus 6. So if you just h plus 2 minus 3h minus 6. So if you just do algebraic calculation, you will get it to be minus 2h minus 4, because from 1h you will subtract 3h, so you will get minus 2h, and from 2 you wanna subtract 6, so you wanna have minus 4. And similarly you have determined f of at the point 1 2, so it will be minus 4. Okay, so minus 2h minus 4, and then it will be plus 4. So once again minus 4 plus 4 gonna cancel each other, so you will have minus 2h by h, h tends to 0, so that is minus 2. Now you need to determine the del f del y. So you just you can just do, okay, so what will be the value of del f del y from here?
1 minus 3x square.
Yes, the value of the derivative will be 1 minus 3x square. So if you just put x square is equal to, so here there is no y, so del f del y is actually independent of y, right? So if you put instead of x you put 1, so you will get 1 minus 3, so you will get the final answer to be minus 2, right? You will get the answer to be minus 2. Now minus 2, so here also we have observed the answer to be minus 2, right? So that is how you need to calculate the derivatives using the limit definition. Are there any questions in this problem? I think no, right? It is okay, right?
Yes.
Okay. Now find the partial derivative of the functions with respect to each variable. So what is this first problem? So this is a function of rho, phi and theta. So what is the function? Rho into sin phi. So you can calculate very easily. So what will be the value for del f del rho for the first problem? Del f del rho for this problem, del f del rho will be
Sin phi.
yes. And what will be del f del phi?
Rho cos phi.
And what will be del f del theta?
0.
Yes, you are absolutely correct. So for my online friends, the explanation is f is a function of rho, phi, comma theta, and del f del rho is equal to, if you take a partial derivative with respect to rho, so this only you need to derivative of this rho part, and you will get it to be 1. So you will get 1 into sin phi, so the answer will be sin phi. Now if you take derivative with respect to phi, you see del f del phi, so del f del phi is rho into cosine phi. And then if you take derivative with respect to theta, now you can see that this function f does not have any explicit dependence upon the explicit dependence explicit dependence. So since there is no explicit dependence, you can write it as rho sine phi, and there is no function of theta. So if you just take derivative, so it is actually constant with respect to theta. So if you take partial derivative, you will have 0, right? Somebody is trying to join. No, there are nobody. Okay, so okay, so now the next problem. So problem B is fxy equals to n equals to 0 to infinity, comma bracket xy to the power n, where modulus of xy less than 1, right? So we need to find the partial derivative of the function with respect to each variable. So f rho phi theta, done. Now f of xy equal to n equal to 0 to infinity xy की power n, where modulus of xy less than 1. So this problem, where modulus of xy less than 1, this is actually the clue to do this problem. Okay, so can you tell me that what will be the derivative of this function? fxy equal to modulus of summation n equal to 0 to infinity xy की power n with respect to x and with respect to y, the partial derivatives. Can you remember the series of infinite geometric sums? Series of infinite geometric terms. Sigma n equals to 0 to infinity r की power n, and this series converges if and only modulus of r is less than 1, right? And the sum and the series will be, the infinite sum will be 1 by 1 minus r, right? What I am telling, is it understandable to you? I am just telling that if you have infinite geometric sums n equals to 0 to infinity r की power n, then this series will converge to 1 by 1 minus r. So okay, this problem I have already discussed, the part A. So fxy is actually, look at this series, so it is actually a geometric series, right? There is no confusion regarding this. Now fxy is a geometric series of the type n equals to 0 to infinity की power r की power n equal to 1 by 1 minus r for modulus of r less than 1. So here r equal to xy, so f of xy equal to 1 by 1 minus xy. Now you need to take derivative with respect to del f del x, and you need to take derivative with respect to y del f del y. You need to determine them. So I request all of you, those who have joined, to verify del f del x is equal to y by 1 minus xy whole square, and del f del y is equal to x by 1 minus xy whole square. Please verify the problem. Are you trying? Please try. Okay. See, so del f del x, so you first 1 by 1 minus xy whole square, so you think at 1 by 1 minus x. Okay, so you think, so what will be the derivative? Minus of 1 by my 1 minus xy whole square. Now since it is not x, it is actually a function of x, right? So what you need to take, you need to partial derivative of 1 minus xy also. So if you take 1 minus xy partial derivative, here you have, so what is the ordinary derivative of 1 by x? The ordinary derivative of 1 by x with respect to y, x is minus 1 by x square. Similar thing here also. So, you think 1 minus xy as x only, okay? So what will be the answer? Minus 1 by 1 minus xy whole square. Now you need to take partial derivative of this 1 minus xy term, because you have a function of x, not the exact x. So if you take the partial derivative of here, so you will get it to be 1, the partial derivative will be 0, and minus xy, the partial derivative will be minus of y. So if you multiply, you gonna have minus 1 into minus y is equal to y by 1 minus xy whole square. So minus y, and this minus 1 will be y by 1 minus xy whole square. Is it clear? Now similarly, we will determine the next problem also. So del f del y equal to minus 1 by 1 minus xy whole square. You think that to be 1 by y only. So that will be minus 1 by y square. And then you need to take del del y. So 1 minus xy. So if you take the derivative with respect to y, so what you gonna have? You gonna have only minus x. So minus 1 by 1 minus xy whole square into minus x. Minus 1 into minus x, that will be x by 1 minus xy whole square. So is this question clear? So if this question you have do you have any doubt regarding this problem? You can say. Are there any problems regarding the question? Okay. So I will move to the next problem. So find the value of del z del x at the point 111 if the equation xy plus z cube x minus 2yz equals to 0 holds, where z defines as a function of the independent variables x and y, and the partial derivatives exist. So it is a very nice problem, right? So just so what is your problem here? The problem is main here that so x, when x is 1 and y is 1, then z should also be 1. So you see, you put 1 1 1, you will satisfy this functional form. If you put xy equal to 1 and z also 1, you will get this to be 0, where z defines as a function of the independent variables x and y. Now what you will do? Can you give a try of this problem?
Yes, sir.
So just try. What you will do? You will be careful about these terms. You need to do product rule of partial derivatives, right? So that will be xy. You need to you take derivative of these terms with respect to x. So since this function is equal to 0, so their partial derivative with respect also will be 0. So del del x of the entire term will also be 0, and del del y of this term will also be 0. So that is how you can actually solve this problem.
Sir, is the answer is minus 2.
If the answer is minus 2. Minus 2. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Very good. Very good. So See, consider so this type of equations we call them implicit equation, right? Why we call them implicit equation? Because the function z is itself in terms of x, y, and there is no explicitly z is not explicitly given. You need to determine it explicitly, because it is not given explicitly, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so differentiate with the above with respect to x. So first take derivative with respect to del x. So del x is xy plus del x of z cube x and plus del x of minus 2yz and del x of 0. So this will be y plus z cube, because when you take partial derivative of x of this function z cube x, you will get z cube, and then you take derivative of this z cube, you gonna have 3 into z square, and there is 1x multiplied, so 3z square x into del z del x. You need to take del z del x minus 2y. Now y is independent of x, right? Because y and x are actually two independent variables. So minus 2y. So what will be del y del x if you take? It will be simply 0. So minus 2y z minus 2y del z del x equals to 0. Now you put x equal to 1, z equal to 1 and y equal to 1. So if you put them up, you get del z del x is 3z square x minus 2y by minus y minus z cube. So just have taken common this terms del z del x, we have taken common, right? So minus y minus z cube is actually del z del x equal to minus y minus z cube divided by 3z square x minus 2y. So put 1 1 1 in the above equation, you will get del z del x equal to minus y minus 1 by 3 minus 2. So this is will be actually minus 2. Therefore the value of del z del x at the point 111 is actually minus 2. Now for those terms where 3z square x minus 2y is equal to 0, your partial derivative do not exist at those points, right? Because then the denominator will be 0, right? So is this problem true? Are there any conclusions in this problem? I hope that there is no problem in this question. So I will just move in the next problem. So you need to find del x del u and del y del v if the equations are u equal to x square minus y square and v equal to x square minus y, where x and y defines as functions as the of the independent variables u and v, and the partial derivative exists. Then let s equal to x square plus y square, and you need to find del s del u. Is it clear what I am trying to say? Del x del u and del y del v, you need to find if the equations are u equal to x square minus y square and v equal to x square minus y, where x and y defines as functions of the independent variables u and v, and the partial derivative exists. Then you need to determine s equal to x square plus y square, and then you need to find del s del u. Okay, is my problem clear to you?
Yes.
Will you give it some try? Then you can have try. Okay, just give some try this problem.
Okay.
So I can give you some suggestion. So you can try writing x and y in terms of u and v if possible. I don't know whether it is possible or not. So you can try like that. Okay. Are you trying? this problem?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so actually this is a problem solving session, so I want you also to try. And there are some, like this problem is quite tough to handle, so I have set the problem set in such a way that you get the flavors of the IIT, because these problems we also discuss in calculus course in IIT Ropar also, so you will get the flavor of IIT also in our classes. Okay, perhaps I may help. So consider the given equations u equal to x square minus y square and v equal to x square minus y, and differentiate each equation implicitly with respect to u. So if you take derivative of this with respect to u, you gonna have implicit derivative. So the derivative of u with respect to u will be 1, derivative of x with respect to u will be twice x del x del u, and derivative of minus y square will be minus 2y del y del u, and v equal to x square minus y. So if you partial derivative v, since u and v are actually independent to one another, so if you take derivative with respect to u of this v, this, then you gonna have this term 0, and here there will be 2x del x del u minus del y del u. Now you have two unknowns. What are those unknowns? The unknowns are del x del u and del y del u. So there are two unknowns and you have two equations, so I think you can solve it. So how we will solve? So just eliminate this twice x del u twice x del x del u. So from here you will get twice x del x del u to be 1 plus twice what? Del y del u, and from here you get twice x del x del y, and twice x del x del u is equal to del y del u. So if you just okay, how I think there is some simple mistake here, right? That is 2x minus 2y del y del u. So if you subtract it, you will have 1 minus twice y del y del u. So this will be only, this term will not be there, right? Sanjay, please turn off your mic.
Okay, sir.
Okay, I think here I did some mistake. No mistake. Here that will be minus 2y, na? Okay. So if you just subtract equation 2 from equation 1, so this will be 1 minus 0 will be 1, 2x del x del u, 2x del x del u, they will cancel one another. So here we will have del y del u minus 2y del y del u. You take del y del u common, so you will get minus 1 minus 2y del y del u. This is equals to 1. Till now is it clear? We have just implicitly took differentiation with respect to u. There is nothing more I have done. I have just taken implicit differentiation. So it up to this point, is it clear? Up to this point?
Yes.
Okay. So now next part. So del y del u is 1 by 1 minus 2y. So substitute the above equation in equation 2 and obtain del x del u. So del y del u is 1 minus 1 by 1 minus 2y. From here you have obtained twice x del x del u minus del y del u. You put del y del u equal to 1 by 1 minus 2y. So what will be your del x del u? Your del x del u will be 1 by 2x into 1 minus 2y. Just you put it here, you will get this answer. And in a similar way, differentiate the given equations. U equal to twice x minus x square minus y square and v equal to x square minus y implicitly with respect to v, and find del y del v. So from here you get del x del u. Now see, so u is equal to x square minus y square. When you take partial derivative with respect to v, you will get twice x. This term will vanish because u is independent of v. You are taking partial derivative with respect to v. So 0 will be twice x del x del v minus twice y del y del v, and v you take partial derivative with respect to v equal to x square minus y 2x into del x del v minus del y del v. Okay. So now you once again subtract this 6 from 5. What you will get? You will once again get 1 minus 2y del y del v is equal to minus 1. So that means 2y minus 1 del y del v equal to 1. So del y del v equal to 1 by 2y minus 1. So what will be del x del u? Once again you put del y del v equal to 1 by 2y minus 1. You put in this equation 2y del y del del y del v equal to del y del v del y del v equal to 1 by 2y minus 1. So similarly you just putting del y del v, you can determine del x del v. So what will be the del x del v? Del x del v will be, sorry, here there is one typo, that will be del x del v. Okay, so that will be del x del v. Now that will be del x into del x by del v. Okay, you put del y del v equal to 1 by 2y minus 1. You put del y del v here, or sorry, del y del v here, 1 minus del y del v. You put del y del v here, and then you just take del y del v, and you just determine del x del v. Okay, so then you determine del x del v and del y del v. Now you use the chain rule. So a is equal to x square plus y square. Use chain rule to find del s del u. So del s del u is equal to del x del s del x del x del u plus del s del y del u. Okay, s is a function of x square plus y square. So you take derivative del s del u equal to del s del x del u, because it is a function of x square, x and y. So you have taken the partial derivative. Now what is del s del x? Del s del x is just derivative with respect to 2x, so it will be 2x, and derivative with respect to y will be 2y. So if you just use those relationships, so you gonna have del s del u equal to del x del u plus del s del y del u. So you just gonna have 2x into 1 by 2x minus into 1 minus 2y, because these terms we have already discussed, del x del u, right, and del y del u. So if you just use it, so we gonna find del s del u equal to 1 plus 2y by 1 minus 2y. 1 plus 2y by 1 minus 2y. I think, are there any okay, del y del v, del x del u and del y del v, del x del u and del y del v. Oh, okay. Here there is no need to determine del x del v. So what was our question? Our question was to determine only del x del u and del y del v. So we have determined del x del u to be equal to 1 by 2x by 1 minus 2y, and del y del v is 1 by 2y minus 1. Okay, is it okay to you? Del y del v and only del x del u. So there is no typo here. It will not be del x del v. It will be del x del u only. Now from here on you can actually determine what is del x del v. How you will determine del x del v? You have del y del v, the expression. You put del y del v here in this any of the two equations, you will get del x del v. Am I clear? So now you have just used chain rule, and you can simply determine that del s del u equal to del s del x del x del u. This is just implication of chain rule. You can determine del s del u to be 1 plus 2y by 1 minus 2y. Okay, is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, the problem is a bit tricky, but I hope that it is understandable to you. Okay, so I just request you, I will upload the slide after the class. You just in your home, you just cross check whatever I have done, because I have solved the problem in copies, then I have written them back in the slides, so there may be some typos. So be careful, don't believe everything whatever I have written in the slide, don't believe them. You cross check on your own, so that you can also get the flavor of problem solving session, right? So next, you need to determine del w del t as a function of t, both by using the chain rule and by expressing w in terms of t before differentiating, where w equal to ln x square plus y square plus z square, w x equal to cos t plus y equal to sin t, z equal to 4 square root t. Okay, so there are many ways to solve it. Del w del t, you can determine it by many ways. So first, the easiest way, what will be the easiest way to determine del w del t? What will be the easiest way? Just notice this expression. What will be the easiest way?
Sir, putting the values of x, y, z.
Yes.
In W.
Yes, you just put x, y, z there. So what is the value of x? X is cosine t, y is equal to sin t, and z is equal to 4 square root of t. You just put them up in the expression, right? So you just put them up and tell me what is the answer del w del t. That is actually one part, but I will also use the chain rule. So the direct putting is also one that expressing w in terms of t. The answer of this part will be direct putting, but if you use chain rule, then we will use some different thing. So you just put x equal to cos t, y equal to sin t in the expression, and z equal to 4 square root of t, and then take derivative with respect to t to get the answer. So I am giving you 2 to 3 minutes. Just put the expressions in the w and then tell me the answer.
Del w del t is del w del t equal to 16 by 1 plus 16t.
Del w by del t
Equal to 16 by 1 plus 16t.
Yes, you are absolutely correct. So you have just put. Okay, so what will be now? First express w in terms of t and then differentiate it with respect to t. So w equal to ln x square plus y square plus z square. So you put w equal to ln cos t the whole square plus sin t whole square plus 4 square root of t whole square. So what will be the answer? The answer w will be 1 plus ln 1 plus 16t. Now differentiate the function with respect to t. You take del w del t equal to 16 by 1 plus 16t. Am I correct? So you just put cos t sin t instead of x and y. You put z equal to 4 root 2 and then just take derivative with respect to t. Now try utilizing the chain rule also. Try utilizing chain rule. See, you need to consider the function w equal to ln cos x square plus y square plus z square and find need to del w del t using the chain rule. So what is del w del x? Del w del x is twice x by x square plus y square plus z square. Look, this function w is actually symmetrical about x y z, right? If you change alternate x and y, will it change your function? No. So this function is actually symmetrical with respect to x y z. So you can determine del w del x, del w del y, del w del z very easily. You just substitute, instead of x you put y, instead of y you put z, and the answer will be same, right? So now substitute these values in chain rule. So del w del t, it will be chain rule using chain rule, del w del x del t plus del w del y del t plus del w del z del t. Now what is del w del x? Del w del x is 2x by x square plus y square plus z square, and your x, the expression for x is cos t. So del t of cos t, and del w del y is equal to 2y by x square plus y square plus z square, del t equal to del t of sin t, and del w del z equal to 2z by x square plus y square plus z square, and del t of 4 square root of t. Right? Up to this point, is it okay? I will move to the next slide then. Is it okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now del w del t twice x. So this del t will be cos t will be minus sin t. Del t of sin t will be cos t, and del t of 4 square root of t will be 2 by square root of t. Now you just multiply the above side and take just partial sum. You just add them up. So that will be minus 2x sin t plus 2y cos t, that will be 4z by into 1 plus square root of t divided by x square plus y square plus z square. Now you put, instead of x cos t, instead of y sin t, instead of z 4 square root of t. If you just put t, put that term, so z will be 4 square root of t. So here minus 2 cos t sin t is minus 2 cos t sin t plus 2 sin t cos t, so they will cancel one another, and here z equal to 4 square root of t, so square root of t will cancel one another, and 4 into 4 will give you 16, and cos square t plus h square t is 1, and 4 square root t the whole square is equal to 16t. So is this problem clear right now? I will move to the next slide then.
Yes, sir.
Okay, now next problem. Express del z del u del z del v as a function of u and v, both by using the chain rule and by expressing z in terms of u and v before differentiating, where z equal to 4 e की power x ln y, x equal to ln u cos v, and y equal to u sin v. So it is actually a bit difficult problem, right? So you need to determine del z del x, del z del u, and so by just putting you can also do, right? So what you first you try by putting z equal to, will you try or I will just discuss it? Will you give a try?
Yes, sir.
Okay, just give try. Okay, I am giving 2 to 3 minutes, 3 to 4 minutes, so then I will discuss the solution. So how to use chain rule? Z equal to 4 e की power x ln y. So del z del u will be del z del x into del x del u plus del z del y into del y del u, and then you have expression for x, you have expression for y, take derivative with respect to u. And similarly for when you determining del z del v, you write it del z del v equal to del z del x into del x del v plus del z del y into del y del v.
Can I tell you the answer of it?
Yes, why not?
Del Z del X equal to 4 cos B ln U E sin B.
Just give me 1 minute. Del Z del X equal to del Z del
4
U.
cos B
হ্যাঁ
4 cos B ln U E sin B.
ln U sin V plus 4 cos B. Del Z del U, right?
Yes, sir.
So del Z del U 4 cos B into ln U sin V. And I think there will be one more term plus 4 cos B.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I will discuss. Okay, so consider the function z equal to 4 e की power x ln y and find del z del u and del z del b using chain rule. It is clear that what will be del z del x. Your del z del x is 4 e की power x ln y. So del z del x will be 4 e की power x ln y and your del z del y equal to del z del y equal to 4 e की power x by y. So substitute these values in chain rule. Del z del u equal to del z del x into del x del u plus del z del y into del y del u. So you put del z del x 4 e की power x ln y and del u of ln u cos b plus 4 e की power x by y del u of u sin b. So 4 e की power x ln y cos b by that will be u cos b, right? Del u that will be u cos b below and above you put u cos b that will be cos b plus 4 e की power x del u of u sin b will be sin b. So del z del u equal to 4 e की power x ln y into 1 by u and 4 e की power x y into sin b. Now you have expression for x and y. You put those expression. So 4 e की power ln u cos b. So that will be 4 u cos b ln u sin b into 1 by u plus 4 u cos b divided by u sin b. So u will vanish, sin b will vanish. So there will be 4 cos b. So del z del u is equal to 4 cos b ln u sin b plus 4 cos b. Is it correct? Disha, is it correct?
Yes.
Okay. So till now for my online friends also I am just putting there is del z del u, there is del z del you need to determine del z del u. You have x and y in terms of uv. So you just use partial derivatives. The chain rule for partial derivatives, and that is how you can actually just by substituting those values one by one you can just determine del z del u. Now in similar way try to find del z del v. So how you will determine del z del v? So del z del v equal to del z del x into del x del b plus del z del y into del y del b. So del z del x is 4 e की power x ln y del v of ln u cos b and 4 e की power x by y del v of u sin b. So 4 e की power x ln y, so ln u cos b you take derivative partial derivative, so it will be 1 by u cos b and then you need to take derivative of u cos b with respect to v. So you will get okay, so then you will get this u cos b, the derivative of u cos b will be minus u sin b plus 4 e की power x by y u cos b del v is just u cos b. So if you derivative if you u so that u will gonna cancel, so minus 4 e की power x ln y sin b by cos b 4 e की power x y u cos b. Now you put the values of x and y, you put the values of x and y, so that will be minus 4 e की power x instead of a की power x you need to write ln u cos b into ln u sin b by cos b. So that will be minus 4 u cos b. So here on you will get minus 4 u sin b ln u sin b, and from here you will get 4 u into cos square v by sin v. Is it clear? Just we have utilized the chain rule here. So now first express z in terms of u and v, then define. So this up to this दिशा, is this answer correct? आपने इसको डिटरमिन किया है. Is this answer correct? Minus 4 u sin b ln u sin b plus 4 u cos v square by sin b, right?
Yes.
Okay. So now you need to express z in terms of u and v. So just put instead of x you put u cos b ln u cos b, and instead of y you put u sin b. So then you get z equal to 4 u cos b ln u sin b you determine with respect to del z del u, you take del z del u. So first you will take 4 cos b and u into del del u ln u sin b plus ln u sin b del u, right? Here we have just like this 4 cos b term is independent of u, right? So that's why we have just taken it outside the bracket. So 4 cos b is outside bracket, you will get u into ln u sin b. So u del del u of ln u sin b plus ln u sin b into ln, this will be inside bracket. Well, so this will be inside bracket. So that will be ln u sin b so that will be ln u sin b del u, right? So from here on you will get to be 4 cos b bahar hai u, so that will be u by u sin b into sin b, so that will be 1, and here you will get ln u sin b as usual because del u is 1. So see the expression, this del z del u equal to 4 cos b common 1 plus ln u sin b. This is what we got using chain rule also. You take 4 cos b out, you will get 1 plus ln u sin b. So that is how you can cross check the two results. Similarly you can determine also del z del v, differentiate equation 9 with respect to v. What is equation 9? 4u cos b ln u sin b. You take 4u common, so you take 4u common, you will get cos b ln u sin b. So del z del v is equal to 4u common cos b del del v of ln u sin b plus ln u sin b del del v of cos b. Is it clear? So is it clear till now? Because I have just used the product rule of partial derivatives, right? So you take 4u common, so you get cos b into ln b sin b. So del z del v equal to 4u cos b u sin b cos b sin, so ln u sin b minus sin b. So there will be this u will gonna cancel one another. So 4u cos b whole square by sin b minus sin b ln u sin b. So is it the answer what we got here? Yes, 4u cos b whole square by sin b, 4u cos b whole square by sin b minus 4u sin b minus 4u sin b ln u sin b, minus 4u sin b ln u sin b. Very good. Okay. Now suppose that the partial derivatives of a function f(x, y, z) at the point on the helix x, this is a equation of helix. Now how helix looks like? So this is x, this is y, and this is z. So helix looks like, so cos t sin t t. So okay, just give me so how so now how you need to do? Okay, so the helix will be look like this. Sorry, I am very badly. So okay, so helix will look like this is your coordinates. So the helix will be like just circle, and that circle is actually moving upward. So this is actually the helix. Am I clear? So this will be same, this circle will be same. I draw it very badly. So do you understand what actually helix means? Helix means that at time as t is increasing, the circle is moving upward, like spring. You know spring, so that actually looks like spring. Okay. Okay, so suppose that the partial derivatives of a function fx y z at the point on the helix x equal to cos t, y equal to sin t and z equal to t are fx equal to cos t, fy equal to sin t and fz equal to t square plus t minus 2. At what points on the curve, if any, can f take on extreme values? Okay, so there is some function and that function, the partial derivative of the function at a point on the helix is actually this cos t sin t and t square plus t minus 2. At what points on the curve, if any, f can take on extreme values? Okay, so can you determine this problem? How to solve it? Is it clear? Your partial derivatives you are taking on the helix of a function fx y z, and what are the partial derivatives? They are fx equal to cos t, fy equal to sin t and fz equal to t square plus t minus 2. At what points on the curve, if any, f can take extreme values? See, consider the helix x equal to cos t, y equal to sin t, z equal to t. To find extreme values of f on given helix, first find critical points. So how to determine critical points? You need to determine del f del t equals to 0 of that function, because that function is just dependent upon t only. So what is ft? Ft equal to del f del x del t plus del f del y del t plus del f del z del t. Now what will be this answer? Del f del x is it is given cos t. Del f del x is cos t and then del t of cos t, because you are trying to determine on the helix only. So x is cos t on the helix. So del t of cos t will be minus sin t. Del f del y is sin t. You need to take del t equal to sin t and then plus t square, because del f del z is t square plus t minus 2. Del t of del t equals to 0. So here cos t minus sin t is minus cos t sin t, plus sin t into cos t equal to plus sin t cos t, plus t square plus t minus 2 equals to 0. So sin t cos t and sin t cos t, they will cancel one another and t square plus t minus 2 equals to 0. So t square plus t minus 2 equals to 0. So what you gonna have? You gonna have t equal to 1 and t equal to minus 2. So these are actually the 2 points where you can have extreme values. Now therefore extreme values that f can take on the given curve are f of x t, y t, z t. So there are, you have 1 and t equal to minus 2. So if t equal to 1, x equal to cos 1 and y equal to sin 1 and z equal to 1, and that t equal to minus 2, cos equal to minus 2, y equal to minus sin 2 and z equal to minus 2. So on the above 2 points of the helix, f will take extreme values. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now these are some problems which are only for you, so that you can solve it. So what will be the total derivative of fxy equal to sin xy plus x square? I hope that you know what is actually total derivative. So total derivative df dx will be del f del x into dx plus del f del y into dy, right? Total derivative, I hope you know, Sir has already discussed in his class. So you just to determine the total derivative df dx, the total derivative df is equal to del f del x into dx plus del f del y into dy. Now you just determine del f del x and del f del y, put instead of x and y you put 1 comma pi, then you will get the answer. Now this question 2 I will discuss. I have the solution. This question 2 I will discuss. Don't need to panic. This question 2 I will discuss. Okay. This question 2 I will discuss. This question 2 I will discuss. Let's move to question 3. you need to compute fx, fy and fz in the following. So there are three f values: fx yz equal to ln x plus 2y plus 3z, fx yz equal to x square plus y square plus z square to the power minus r, and fx yz equal to sin hyperbolic xy minus z square. So just quickly wrap it up. Quickly compute the partial derivatives fx, fy, fz for each of the expressions of f. You just determine it.
What is the expression of sin hyperbolic x?
Sin hyperbolic x. Sin hyperbolic x means e की power x minus e की power minus x divided by 2. Sin hyperbolic x means e की power x minus e की power minus x divided by 2. Okay. So derivative of sin hyperbolic x will be cos hyperbolic x, because cos hyperbolic x e की power x plus e की power minus x divided by 2. Okay.
Okay.
हो गया? Tell me the answer.
So the answer of the first one is fx equal to 1 by x plus 2y plus 3z.
Yes.
Fy equal to 2 by x plus 2y plus 3z.
Yes.
And fz equal to 3 by x plus 2y plus 3z.
Okay, very nice. The second one?
fx equal to minus x into x square plus y square plus z square whole to the power minus 3 by 2.
Okay. So next will be symmetrical. You will get minus y divided by x square plus y square plus z square to the power 3 by 2, and then there will be minus z by x square plus y square plus z square to the power 3 by 2, right? And then the next one, fx y z equal to sin hyperbolic xy minus z square.
Fx equal to cos hyperbolic xy minus z square into y.
Yes. Fy
Fy equal to x into cos hyperbolic xy minus z square.
Very nice.
And fz equal to minus 2z into cos hyperbolic xy minus z square.
Okay. Very nice. Next, try question number 4. Find all first order partial derivative of fx yz equal to x square y minus z by xy plus sin pi into z की power uy at the point 111. So you need to determine del f del x, del f del y, del f del z. Okay, these are actually some like you will just do some hand in practice in these problems. So I hope that you can do these problems. You need to do first order partial derivatives. Here also you need to do first order partial derivatives, and there are 4 variables here: x, y, t, z, right?
Yes.
So I hope that these problems you can tackle on your own. And this is actually, you can follow the Piskunov's book. This is just x plus just very minor problems. This problem, I think Sir also discussed these problems. Total differential, these problems. Okay, try this one. Question 8. Compute del cube z del x square del y and del cube z del y del x square. So here you will first take derivative with respect to y, then twice take derivative with respect to x, and here first you take twice derivative with respect to x, then take derivative with respect to y. And check whether they are coming to be equal or not. So these type of derivatives are called mixed derivatives, right? Mixed partial derivatives. This is just, there is no shortcut in this sort of problems. You need to like solve just manually. You have to do. Yes.
Is the two partial derivatives equal?
Yes, I hope so. I don't have the answer of these problems, but I hope so, because this function z is a very nice function, right? It is actually a smooth function. You can take derivatives, partial derivatives of any order. So it is actually a C infinity function. C infinity function means this function is itself continuous, and whatever order you can take partial derivatives, those partial derivatives are also continuous, right? So this is actually that sort of function. So it's a very smooth function, and for smooth functions, usually these mixed partial derivatives are actually equal to one another. Now question 9 also is very same. Give a try to question 10. Determine del z del x and del z del y if the equation x square plus y square plus z square plus 6x yz equal to 1 defines z as a function of two independent variables x and y. I hope you can determine this. This is a that one is actually easy question. Are you trying, Disha? Just try. Del z del x and del z del y. This equation is x square plus y square plus z square plus 6yz equal to 1. You take derivative, so this will be 2x plus 0 plus 2z plus 6yz plus 6xy del z del x, and you put you can write del z del x in terms of x, y, comma, z, right? So that is how we can determine actually the del z del x and del z del y. You got it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So these problems I think that you can do, right? So next. So consider the function x plus y into sin 1 by x plus y when x plus y not equals to 0 and x plus y equals to 0, so that the function is itself continuous at origin, but first partial derivatives fx and fy do not exist at the origin. So this problem is quite easy to solve. How it is easy? Like if you take x plus y equal to r, so as x plus y or r tends to 0, x y comma tends to 0, that r will gonna tends to 0, and you get r into sin 1 by r. So as r and there is this sin 1 by r is actually a bounded function, and your r tends to 0, so this function is actually continuous. Now for partial derivatives, they do not exist. You just need to determine limit h tends to 0 f of h comma 0 minus f00 divided by h. So this h sin 1 by h minus 0 divided by h will be sin 1 by h, and as h tends to 0, sin 1 by h oscillates around 0 origin. So that's why these first order partial derivatives fx and fy, they do not exist, right? And so that these two problems is very important. Even if you are doing research in your part doing mathematics, then these problems are very useful for counter examples. So these problems, see, this function is not continuous, is continuous, but partial derivatives do not exist, right? And here the partial derivatives exist, but still the function is not continuous. How you will prove that first order partial derivative is not continuous here? Lisa, can you tell that why it is not continuous?
Sir, if we take the limit along y equal to mx square, then we can easily show that for different values of m,
Yes, very nice. So y equal to mx square, if you follow this parabolic path, you for different m, you will have different value of the limit. So this function is not continuous. It will not be equal to 0. So that gonna depend upon the m. So this function is continuous, but are the partial derivatives exist, fx and fy? This is my question. So can you say that whether fx fy exist or not?
Then I have to evaluate this.
Yes. So you can actually evaluate, like f of h comma 0, that will be 0 minus 0 by h. So the partial derivatives at 0 will be 0 and 0. Okay. So the first order partial derivatives exist, but still the function is not continuous. Now next solve this problem. Compute fxx, fxy, fyx and fyy in the following cases: 2x minus 3y, x by x square plus y square, e to power minus x sin x plus y. So how you will do? You will just determine fx, fy, then once again you will take derivative of them. So these are actually double differentiation, double second order mixed, second order partial derivatives. So these are actually second order partial derivatives, and these are actually mixed derivatives. fxy, fyx, they are actually mixed. You are derivative with respect to y as well as you are taking derivative with respect to x. I hope you can do, right? Just solve one. I will upload the notes, you can practice only. Okay, I will just giving 2-3 minutes, you can solve actually. So just solve it.
Sir, which one I can solve?
You can solve anyone, like you try to solve the part question B, fxy equal to x by x square plus y square.
Okay.
I think it is a bit complicated. Okay, forget it, just to solve the first one, 2x minus 3y whole cube. It is easy, I think.
Sir, can I tell you the answer?
Yes, why not?
Fx is equal to 24 into 2x minus 3y. Fy equal to 54 into 2x minus 3y. And fxy and fyx are equal. And the answer is minus 36 into 2x minus 3y.
Okay, this is quite trivial one, right? It is quite easy. Just take first order derivative and then just do one second order derivative, right? So these are actually very important for you when we will discuss maximum minimum of function of two variables, because these components will form the Hessian matrix. That is an important concept, that is called Hessian. So there are two concepts, one is the Jacobian matrix, the other one is the Hessian matrix. This will form actually the Hessian matrix. So that's why I had took some examples to compute those actually. Okay, how you will solve question number 14? Give me example, just tell me intuitively.
Sir, if I take ln both sides.
Yes, you should take ln both sides. Ln f will be x x ln x plus y ln y plus z ln z. Then you need to determine fxx, fyy, fzz, fxy, fyz, fzx. Practice these problems, okay? My aim is to just give you a practice. This problem is also easy. Prove that the function satisfies e power 3x plus 4y cos 5z. How you will solve? You will just take derivative with respect to x twice, take derivative with respect to y twice, take derivative with respect to z twice. You will get this actually fxx plus fyy plus fzz equals to 0. So this is actually an example of these are called Laplace differential equation. So this is actually Laplace differential equation. Laplace differential equation is in the 3 dimension, fxx plus fyy plus fzz equals to 0. So this is actually 3 dimensional Laplace equation. And also I can give you another solution. E की power 5x plus e की power 5x plus 12y cos 13z. This will also satisfy this problem. These are actually Pythagorean triplets. E की power 3x plus 4y cos 5z satisfy this equation. So this 3, 4, 5 are Pythagorean triplet. What are these Pythagorean triplets? 3 square plus 4 square equal to 5 square. And also 5, 12, 13, they are also Pythagorean triplets, right? Got my point? So they are actually Pythagorean triplets.
Yes, sir.
So if you find any Pythagorean triplets m, n and p, then e की power mx plus my plus into cos pz will satisfy this equation, this Laplace equation. Okay, this is also total differential. Now I have told you that I will discuss this question number 2. For the following function, you need to check that whether del 2f del x del y and del 2f del y del x are equal or not at the point 0, 0. If not, you need to give reasons. So this is I have discussed in the last class also. That is called mixed derivative theorem. If fxy and its partial derivatives are defined throughout an open region containing the point AB and are all continuous at AB, then fxy AB is equal to fyx AB. Now fxy equal to xy plus e की power y by 1 plus y square. This satisfies the condition above. So fx equal to you can just also cross check it. So fxy this is equal to 1, and this f from here on you also get fy, and then partial derivative with respect to x you will get once again 1. So fxy at the point 0, 0 at also equals to fyx to the power 0, 0. You can just cross check this problem and put part B actually will not satisfy because this function is not continuous at the point 0, 0. How we will prove that this function is not continuous at 0, 0? Are there any way out?
So putting y equal to mx, you can easily check this.
Y equal to mx. Yes, y equal to mx. No, I don't think so. Y equal to mx में हो जाएगा. See, this is a product of two functions, xy into y square minus x square by x square plus y square. So this part you can prove with continuity using substitution of polar coordinate. That xy into y square minus x square by x square plus y square, this is actually continuous at the point xy equals to 0. Sorry, यहाँ पे x 0, 0 आएगा. हाँ, this is 0, 0, this is 0, 0. So this xy into y square minus x square by x square plus y square, this function is continuous, but this sin 1 by x, this function is not continuous. So you cannot apply mixed derivative theorem. So this function is not actually continuous. Okay. So till now we have discussed partial derivatives. Now I will very briefly discuss some theoretical aspect. These theoretical aspects I will discuss so that we can solve problems in the next class. Okay. So up to this you don't have any question, right? This question 7 I think you can do. You can solve easily. This is actually you just determine with respect to x, then it is symmetric about x, y, z. So you just put with respect to if you determine del u del x, you just substitute instead of x you put y, you are gonna have del u del y, you are gonna similarly have del u del z, and that is how you can actually check them up. Now up to this there is no problem, right? Do you have any problem, Disha? Okay, so I will discuss a very brief theoretical aspect. Okay, just check me how. will whatever theory I will discuss in this class, I will also okay, देखते हैं कितना हो पाता है. See, derivative, let y equal to fx be a function of single variable. So this, if this ratio fx plus delta x minus fx by delta x, this tends to a definite limit as delta x tends to 0, we call the function to be derivable at the point x, right? Instead of x you can use a, right? At the point y equal x equal to a, the function y equal to fx is called derivable if the limit f of a plus delta x minus fa by delta x, this limit tends to a definite limit as delta x tends to 0, then this limit is called derivative of fx at the point x, or we will usually denote it as f prime x or y prime x or dy dx simply. Just give me 1 minute, okay?
Hello. क्लास नहीं चाहिए इम्पोर्टेंट और भी वाला क्लास है.
Okay. So differentiability and differentials. A function fx is said to be differentiable at the point x if when x is given the increment delta x, the increment delta y can be expressed in the form delta y equal to a delta x plus epsilon delta x when a is independent of delta x and epsilon tends to 0 as delta x tends to 0, and this a delta x is called differential or total differential of y and is denoted by dy. So dy is a into delta x. Now I hope that you already know these things, so I will jump them up. I will not discuss this thing. You can just go through these slides for your continuity of like this problem solving sessions. I have written many theorems, like many things which you already know, right? So I will not discuss them up. You know geometrical interpretation of delta differential also, what they mean. The actually derivative will give actually the tangent of the slope. I hope that you all know these things. Okay, these parts I have already discussed. Okay, now differentiability of two variables, that is our aim to solve. So what is the differentiability of two variables? See the definition clearly. The function z equal to fxy, this is said to be differentiable at the point xy if at this point this delta z, that means the increment in z, this delta z equal to a delta x plus b delta y plus epsilon 1 delta x plus epsilon 2 delta y. These epsilon 1 and epsilon 2 are functions of delta x and delta y, and this a and b are independent of delta x delta y such that it epsilon 1 and epsilon 2 they tends to 0 as delta x tends to 0 and delta y tends to 0. And this a delta x plus b delta y, this is called the total differential of the z at the point xy. Now if delta x delta y are sufficiently small, dz gives a close approximation of delta z. Okay, here the geometrical interpretation is, there you got the tangent line, here the derivative actually yields the tangent plane. See, because here you have a two-dimensional function, na? A three-dimensional function, right? Because if you plot z equal to fxy, you gonna have this surface, and derivative here will give you actually the tangent plane. Now this is necessary condition for derivability. So let z fxy is differentiable, then fxy is continuous and has partial derivatives with respect to x and y at the point xy, and that this a is nothing but the derivative del z del x and b is nothing but the derivative del z del y. So this is necessary condition for differentiability. So if the partial derivatives are not exist, then the function will not be differentiable. So that is actually our aim to say necessary condition for differentiability. So for differentiability, necessary condition implies if the function is not continuous and it does not have the partial derivatives, then you can never have differentiability. And sufficient condition is if one of the partial derivatives exist and the other is continuous at a point xy, then the function is differentiable at xy. So there are theory. I hope that you know the difference between necessary and sufficient. Like continuity is a necessary condition of differentiability. How? Because if a function is not continuous, it cannot have differentiation derivative, and derivability is a sufficient condition of continuity, because if a function is derivable, then the function must have been continuous, but not the conversely is true. One counter example is y equal to mod x. This mod x function is continuous at the point x equals to 0, but this mod x function has no derivative at the point x equals to 0. So here also it is a generalization of the point. So the necessary condition for differentiability is the function should have continuous at that point, and the first order partial derivative should exist at that point. Now sufficient condition is the function should one of the partial derivatives should exist and the other one should be continuous, then the function is differentiable at xy. So this is actually a sufficient condition. Now the function may not be differentiable at a point even if the partial derivatives fx fy exist at the point. Existence of partial derivatives is a necessary condition. A function may be differentiable even if fx fy are not continuous. Existence of one partial derivative and continuity of other are actually sufficient conditions. Now this is actually the most important part of testing differentiability. You have a function, so differentiability is like limit delta rho tends to 0, delta z minus dz by delta rho equals to 0, delta rho equal to delta x square plus delta y square. Let f be differentiable. Let delta z equal to a delta x plus b delta y plus epsilon y delta x plus epsilon 2 delta y. So the testing of differentiability is you just write delta z is actually the increment, and then dz is actually the total differential. If you subtract increment from the total differential and take derivative of delta rho, this delta rho is delta x whole square plus delta y whole square, then this test is actually acts as a testing for differentiability. I will not discuss the theoretical aspect. I think sir has already discussed these theoretical aspects. I have also given the proof. So now I am giving you one counter example. So this counter example is fxy equal to xy by square root of x square plus y square. So this function is continuous, has partial derivatives, but the differentiable but this function is not differentiable. How we will prove it? This function is continuous, it has partial derivatives, but it is not differentiable. How we will prove it? First prove it continuity. How we will prove the continuity? Tell me. You just try.
From the definition of continuity.
Like continuity, you use polar coordinates simply. Okay. You can use polar coordinate, right? So you can use polar coordinate, and next is how to use partial derivative. That partial derivatives you can use just simply definition. And what will be the partial derivatives at the point 0, 0? The partial derivatives at the point 0, 0 will be 0, right? The partial derivatives at the point 0, 0 will be simply 0. Am I clear? Now the derivative part. How to prove that this function is not differentiable? See, write f of hk minus f of 0, 0 divided by square root of h square plus k square. Okay, f of hk minus f of 0, 0 divided by square root of h square plus k square. So what is f of hk? Hk divided by square root of h square plus k square. You got my point? So this is like what I am telling you, this delta z f of hk. So f of hk is equal to delta, here I have used simple different notation, delta x and delta y. You can use h and k also. So f of 0 plus delta x, f of 0 plus delta y minus f0 0, this is actually the increment part, delta x delta y by delta x whole square plus delta y whole square. Now what is the dz? Dz part is del z del x into delta x plus del z del y into delta y, and this del z del x del z del y are actually 0, the partial derivatives at the point 0 0. So delta z minus dz by delta rho, so that is nothing but delta x delta y square by square root of delta x delta y square, and this delta rho is actually square root of delta x whole square plus delta y whole square. So this square root of delta x whole square plus square root of delta y whole square, there are two terms of this same term, so you will only get delta x square plus delta y square. Now you put delta y equal to m delta x, you will get this to be dependent upon m, so that is why this is not differentiable. Am I clear? From delta z minus dz you are getting delta x delta y by square root of delta x whole square plus delta y whole square. Now here you have another delta rho, because this up to this denominator part, and that delta rho is nothing but square root of delta x whole square plus delta y whole square. So there's two square root will be like product of two square root, then the two square root term will vanish, the square root notation will vanish, you will get delta x whole square plus delta y whole square only. And now you can actually show that this given function is not differentiable. Is it clear till now?
Yes.
Okay. Now there is called composite functions. So z equal to fxy, x equal to phi t, y equal to psi t. So this is like just what I have discussed in I have discussed this problem, right? Here I have discussed this u v kaha gaya, these problems actually I am mentioning, this type of problems, these are actually composite functions. So differentiation of composite function, there is no way but to use the chain rule. Here this is composite function, the chain rule. Okay, so there is nothing that I have just in the slide I have just put the theoretical aspect. Now derivative of a function defined implicitly, I have also discussed these problems, right? Z equal to fxy equals to 0. Also these problems, function of two variables, I have also discussed. This if fxy equals to 0 and you have z equal to fxi, you take dz dx equal to del f del x, dx dx will be just 1, del f del y into dy dx, that is how you can determine in this dy dx equal to minus del f del x by del f del y. So derivative of a function defined implicitly, function of single, this is actually function of single variable, right? The function of two variables, you have w, let the function is z, x and y be defined as f of x y z equals to 0. You have w, right? If del w del x is del f del x plus del f del z x equals to 0. Similarly del w del y is del f del y plus del f del z del y equals to 0. This is how you can actually determine del z del x and del z del y. I have discussed these problems already, right? Functions of two variables, I have discussed these problems. These are the problems and these are actually necessary the theory. These problems actually, implicit. These problems we have used chain rule as well as we have just used the definition also. Now this is the last part of today's last part of today's class. This is called homogeneous function. An expression in xy is homogeneous of order n if it can be expressed as x to the power n into fy by x. So an expression in xy is homogeneous of order n if it can be expressed as x to the power n into f of y by x. That means if you instead of x and y you substitute tx and ty, then f of tx comma ty will be written as t to the power n into fxy. Am I clear? So give me some examples of homogeneous function.
equal to x square plus y square.
Z equal to x square plus y square. Very nice. And sine of x square plus y square, is it a homogeneous function? Sine of x square plus y square? No, right? Because sine of tx ty, sine of like f of tx ty will be sine t square into x square plus y square. Okay. Any other example of homogeneous function? Sum of two homogeneous function is also homogeneous function, right? So, now provided it has to be same order, same degree, same order, because right, x square plus y square, it is a homogeneous function of degree 2, and x cube plus y cube is a homogeneous function of degree 3. So their function is x cube plus y cube plus x square plus y square. It is not a homogeneous function, so they have to be of degree same. Am I clear?
Yes.
So these are examples of homogeneous functions. Any polynomial of this sort of thing, a0 x to the power n plus a1 x to the power n minus 1 into y plus a2 x to the power n minus 2 into y square plus and so on plus an y to the power n, then you can take x to the power n common. And there is another example, square root of y plus square root of x divided by y plus x. This is a homogeneous function of degree minus half. You can also just put t instead of fxy, you put f of tx ty, then you can get it as t of minus half. So this is actually a homogeneous function of degree minus half, right?
Yes.
Till now it is clear, right?
Yes.
Now there is one called Euler's theorem of homogeneous functions. We will solve problems from this part. Euler's theorem of homogeneous functions I will discuss in the next class also. Euler's theorem is a very in the next class I hope that I will discuss maxima, minima, differentiability. I will discuss some problems. I will discuss some problems on homogeneous functions. So Euler's theorem on homogeneous function is, you have z equal to fxy. This is a homogeneous function of x and y of order n. Then x del z del x plus y del z del y equal to nz, n into z. You can simply prove it. I have given also the proof, but don't need to like prove it right now. And there is also another Euler's theorem, generalized Euler theorem, that is x square del 2z del x square plus 2xy del 2z del x del y plus y square del 2z del y square equal to n into n minus 1 into z. This is actually the generalized form. Euler's theorem on homogeneous function generalization. So then from this part you take derivative once again. So you will get x del 2z del x square, and then you can actually del z del x and del 2z del y square, then add them up. I hope that you can cope up with this problem. So there will be, you can solve and you can actually determine that this is actually generalized version of homogeneous function. Euler's theorem, that is x square del 2z del x square plus twice xy del 2z del x del y plus y square del 2z del y square is actually n into n minus 1 into z, right? So it is a very so just using Euler theorem you can prove that, for example, these functions square root of y plus square root of x by y plus x, right? So this is a homogeneous function of degree minus half. So if you are to be given x square del 2z del x square plus 2xy del 2z del x del y plus y square del 2z del y square at the point 1, 2. So if you try to solve from here, that two derivative, second derivative, and then mixed derivative goes to y, your life is in miserable. Your life gonna be miserable. Just if you know the Euler homogeneous theorem, you can just use n into n minus 1 into z. Am I clear?
Yes, sir.
So you just put there n into n minus 1 into z. So what will be the value of z? So for example 1 comma 4. So that will be square root of 4 will be 2 plus square root of 1 will be 1. So that will be 2 plus 1 will be 3 divided by 4 plus 1 will be 5. So n into n minus 1 is minus half into n minus 1 is minus 3 by 2. So that will be 3 by 4 into 3 by 4 into 3 by 4 into 3 by 4 into 3 by 5. That will be 9 by 20. So 9 by 20, that will be the answer. If you determine, but if you determine with respect to, like you take derivative del 2z del x square, you take derivative partial derivative with respect to x and y, you once again take derivative with respect to y, you derivative with respect to y, once again with respect to y, then your life is actually completely messed up. Am I clear what I am trying to say? Is it clear to you?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So be very cautious about the theorems, because if you have theorems, your life is actually easy. But to solve manually everything, then you are messed up. Okay.
Okay.
So are there anything you want to ask? Any questions for today's class? See, these problems are for only practice purpose. So I hope that it will help you for your NPTEL exam also. So there are basic problems also, there are also some advanced problems. So there are, I have given some problems on theoretical problems, whatever. I have also discussed the basic theoretical part. Now you watch regularly SATs, what SAT actually discusses, then you can actually really like you can actually handle those problems on your own. Okay.